I'm going to talk about keeping momentum, but before we get to that, we got to do the silly holidays. The silly holidays of June, for June 4th. Today is Hug Your Cat Day. So I guess if you have a cat, take your chances and try to hug that feline friend of yours. I just know in the past when we've had cats, they like to try to claw at you when you squeeze them and love them. So, you know what, in all honesty, I'm not really a pet person myself. I don't have anything against pets. I like my house free of pet hair and dander and my lawn free of hidden treasures. But if you got a cat, today is Hug That Cat Day. It is also Cheese Day. And I think my friend Chris is on vacation on the Oregon coast and at Tillamook. And I know that he's had some cheese because he told me. So it's Cheese Day. So there you go. One exciting, very fun holiday that's coming up on Friday. Is that right? Today's Tuesday, 4th, 5th, 6th. Yes. Friday will be my birthday. It'll be National Fred Day. So June 7th is the big day for me. And then right after that, on the 10th, is my bestest friend in the whole wide world, Anthony Fagiano, my singer in Midline. His birthday is on the 10th. And it may come as no surprise, but a lot of times he and I try to do something together on our birthday. So it's really fun and exciting. Plus, we share a lot of the same friends. So it makes for a fun get-together for sure. Speaking of getting older, I'd made a post earlier. It was over the weekend that, I'm getting older, but I don't really feel older necessarily. I mean, in some degrees, jumping off something, my knees might hurt a little bit. But I'm not, I don't feel crippled by any stretch of the imagination. However, if you walk into the mall, you instantly feel older. And then Mary and I were just browsing around and we found ourselves going into Hot Topic. Now, Hot Topic would be a store that I went to in my 20s, maybe my early 30s if I was pushing it a little bit, looking for stage clothes. But man, going in there now, I do realize that I'm getting older. It's not my thing, man. It's not my thing at all. And the music is just like just some crazy blast beat speed metal going on in that store. And I told Mary, I said, I'll wait for you out in the hall. So she walked out of there with a Hello Kitty button. Which I thought that was hilarious. So, yes, my birthday. I used to try to avoid my birthday a little bit because I didn't like the attention. And so another friend of mine said that he really liked the attention and taking advantage of his birthday, and he sold me on that. So I'll take the attention. It'll be my birthday, and that's a great day. It's always, June has always been a good month. It's one of my favorite months because obviously my birthday, and then on top of that, it's usually when, your summer break starts, even though it's not officially summer until about the 21st or 2nd of June, somewhere in that vicinity. And I just always like the summer months. And so, yeah, that's it on my birthday. And I'll be taking advantage of, the coffee shops giving out free drinks for your birthday and things like that. And then Father's Day will be the next weekend. So, good stuff happening all around. Oh, and sometimes when you're playing shows, it brings out special people that they want to talk shop with you. So I was setting up on on Friday night, and there was a guy kind of hanging around, saw me bringing drums in, and I'm carrying my bass drum. And a bass drum is a fairly large drum, and he points at it and goes, "Oh, there's the floor tom." I said, "No, this is the bass drum." He goes, "Yeah, but it's really a floor tom because it's on the floor." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I pointed at my cases and I said, "Actually, the floor tom's in that." And he's like, "Oh, those are the wing toms." I'm like, wing toms? I've never even heard them called wing toms before. Maybe I've been under a rock for 40 years. I don't know. But he wanted to talk shop. He told me he was a drummer, and in those situations, you just kind of let that person speak, and you just nod and agree, and keep trying to go along with it. And he said, "That guy's all hat and no cattle." And when I heard that, I burst out laughing, and laughing so hard I was starting to tear up. I had never heard that term before, all hat and no cattle. And Mark's like, "Oh yeah, it's a popular saying in Texas." With the pretend cowboys who have hats on but no cattle, basically referring to somebody who's uninformed. Everything that's happened in the last few years for me, and the momentum that was a result of that. And so what is momentum? It's how something is moving and how fast it's moving. And then what can cause loss of momentum. Loss of momentum could be having an unclear vision, or loss of enthusiasm, or even lack of desire at all in what you're doing. So that will stall. In my case, that can stall your music career. That can stall anything that you desire to do, that you're wanting to be your dream or your career, or whatever it is that excites you. So, because I was thinking, like, not only the momentum, but the evolution of things that have its, boy, if I can get my words in the right order, the evolution of things for me regarding teaching and recording and the music I'm making and who I'm making music with and shows that I'm playing and things like that. So I just jotted down some ideas, and I'll throw out these ideas, and hopefully they're in some kind of an order. And then you fine folks can weigh in as we go. That would be great. So all of this stuff that I talk about, by the way, is from personal experience. It's not something I think could happen or should or wouldn't. It's just my experience has caused me to form a thought process and opinions about things, and then I share all this infinite wisdom with you fine people. Now I laugh because I'm not thinking that I'm the be all the king of knowledge here. So, I was thinking about midline in the early 90s. We had a lot of momentum. We were being played on the radio, and I've talked about this before. We had 4 singles off our first record that got heavy radio play here in Boise, and sold a lot of cassettes to start with, and then CDs. We had CDs made, sold thousands of CDs. And between the cassettes and CDs, well over 10,000 units sold, and so I have a lot of momentum going forward. And I think it's, to some degree, we just thought that wasn't going to stop, that it was just going to continue working out. So I think everybody in the band has thought about this over and over the years, is like trying to point fingers at what the problem was, why that didn't continue, or why we struggled in certain areas, and blaming this radio station or blaming this promoter or whatever. And the fact of the matter is that we just didn't make smart decisions on our end. And once you realize that, then that's a different pill to swallow. So now, in our present state of the band, we are trying to be very, very smart and calculated about what we're doing and when and why and how. And so it feels like everything just moves so much easier. There's a lot less resistance happening in any direction. Everything moves really easily. Excuse me. So one thing that I wrote down is, like, when you have good things happening, but poor decision making, that can kill your momentum. So what are the right things to do? What are the right steps to take? Well, one of those, as I've learned over the last few years, is seeking advice from somebody who knows more than me, somebody who's already ahead of me, or already living or doing things on a level that I want to be doing those things. So it's getting advice from those people who are having success already doing what I want to do, not getting advice from somebody that's at the same level as me, or advice from somebody that's not only failed and didn't have success, but somebody who failed and didn't have success, who's jaded or thinks that it's impossible. That kind of advice or comments can be like a cancer to your career, and you definitely don't want to have any of that in your corner. So, I'll be 52 years old on Friday, surprisingly, and I feel like I'm in the best position in my music career than I ever have been because of the decisions I've been making over the past 4 years. And it obviously didn't happen overnight, and there's still things that I'm trying to achieve and trying to do, but the one common denominator is making smart choices about what I'm wanting to do and with who. So all you musician friends out there who have played music and played live, or especially live, I would say, you've been on stage, I'm sure, with people who don't know their parts. And it's even more frustrating to be on stage with somebody who not only doesn't know their parts, but who's been on stage in that situation with those songs many, many times, and they still don't know what's going on. Now, does that become something that can hinder your career moving forward? I don't know. Maybe that could be something. So those are things for all of us to navigate individually and decide if it's worth to continue working in those environments or not. Speaking of live, you want everybody in the band to be on their game as much as they possibly can, barring that, of course, we're all human. We're going to make little stumbles here and there along the way, but you want to have a good show. You want to present your band in a way that looks great and sounds great. I think all those things are really important. If you're not looking great and sounding great and everybody on stage putting 100% in, then I think that's can be damaging to the brand of the band overall. That's my opinion. That's how I view it. And I think that's why, for me, midline is such a huge thing, because for 30 plus years, no matter who's been in the band, everybody was all in and was all into having a good look, putting on the best show possible. We were all in alignment with things, good or bad decisions, but we were all in alignment. And like I said, the present lineup of the band, this process is the easiest it's ever been, and which is great. So Here's some other thoughts I wrote down. Like, what are the goals and how do you get there? It's when you have momentum going, you not only want to have momentum going, but you want to keep that momentum going. So making good decisions, like what's the next step? What's the next goal in mind to continue towards reaching a destination? So if we were going to drive here from Boise and we were going to drive to, let's say Niagara Falls, you wouldn't just jump in a car with no direction and no money and not have a plan. You'd want to plan that trip out. You'd want to have an estimation of what it would cost to get there and back, how long it's going to take to do that, where are you going to stop along the ways. And I think that's all relatable to your career, regardless if it's music or if you're a banker or a landscape guy, as I used to be. Those are all important things to consider, to have a plan. So if you have a plan and can execute these plans in little steps, then that makes that trip easier to do. And as that goes along, you discover other things. Maybe there's a scenic route that must be taken, or whatever the situation is, but as long as you can stick to a plan to some degree, and then that plan can be flexible a little bit too as things unfold before you. But it's making sure that you're continuing to taking actions in the right direction, taking advice from the right people, and moving forward. So the next thought I had, which I think I already touched on in that, is like, where does the advice come from? When you're trying to move forward and achieve certain levels of things, who do you want to listen to? Who do you want to take advice from? I'm a drummer. I don't know why that's funny. Maybe just being a drummer is funny, but I think that I know a lot about my instrument. I know a lot about the type of drums I like, the type of drum heads I like, the sticks I like, the cymbals I like. And those tastes, for me, have developed over a period of, 4 decades of drumming. And so at where I am now, for somebody to convince me otherwise on drums or drum heads or sticks or cymbals or something, I think I have to really admire and respect where that information would be coming from to convince me to try something different. You may have noticed I've been selling off my soul tone cymbals and my Zildjian cymbals. And that is because I have decided that Paiste cymbals are a brand of cymbals and a quality of cymbals that I want my brand, my Fred Rock brand, to be associated with. Not that Soul Tone did anything wrong or I did anything wrong to Soul Tone. Those cymbals are amazing cymbals. Those are great people. I view it as maybe one NFL player is leaving a team and going to another team. I think it's as simple as that. I think developing a relationship with Paiste cymbals has become really important to me, and it's not something I just woke up one day and decided to do. It's been a little over a year of research and talking with the people at Paiste cymbals to see if we can move forward with this. And it's not anything that's happened for sure yet, but the door hasn't been closed. It's been open for a year, and so they're just watching how my career develops and to decide themselves if they want to have a relationship with me. But I just feel that Paiste cymbals better represents what I am trying to accomplish, and so that's why I'm switching. It has zero to do with the quality and sound of Soul Tone cymbals. It's now, if that was the case, that would be easy. Or if I had been wronged in some way, which I have not. So, you know, imagine you drive Chevy trucks your whole life and then you decide to switch to Ford. Who would do that? But anyway, that's where I'm at with that. It's having things in place that I want to be associated with. So yeah, taking advice from another drummer on making a switch to something else for whatever reason, I have to have a lot of respect for that person. You know, how I play in the studio is all, especially when I'm tracking drums for somebody else, that person's the boss. You know, if they want me to play something that might really go against my musical intuition, I could maybe, depending on the relationship, voice a concern for that. Or if they're just totally set in that's what they want, then that's what they're going to get. So that's what I do. But it's like, yeah, where does the information and advice coming from? And does it carry enough value and weight to you personally to go, oh, you know what? That person's right, and maybe I should listen to them because that's going to elevate what I'm doing so much better. I think sound men are the worst when it comes to taking advice. I've known a lot of sound engineers, especially live sound engineers. For about 10 years when Midline was touring very heavily, we had our own sound engineer, which was great because he knew the band. He knew the songs really well. He knew exactly when a guitar solo was going to happen so that he could bring that up in the mix a little bit. He knew exactly certain vocal things that Anthony would do that you'd want to have a vocal delay or something on. So it wasn't just him running sound and then going, you know, staring off into space and then thinking, oh, there's a guitar solo, let me find that fader. And no, they knew, they were on it. They were there, ready to go. Sound guys don't like to be told, hey, you should change something. You know, I think some of the best sound that I've had playing with Cliff is when Cliff runs sound himself through his little PA system. It's not the gear, it's the ear. It's not the gear, it's the ear. I mean, having nice gear is a plus, don't get me wrong. But having good gear doesn't necessarily guarantee that the person running it knows what they're doing. It's like having a nice drum set doesn't make you a better drummer. But it sure is nice to have nice stuff. So Mark says, sound guy, here's my glasses. Equals delicate genius? Is that what you're saying? I think so. Yeah, so I mean, me having my in-ears, I mentioned earlier on Saturday, just the mix I had in my ears was so amazing. I have a pretty good mix in general from show to show, but for whatever reason, Saturday night, the mix in my ears was just magical. And it felt like I could just do anything effortlessly. It was so pleasant. But, you know, my whole point being is being able to take advice and information from somebody that you respect that's going to make things bigger. And when somebody comes to you like that, is that going to kill your momentum if you don't value or take action with that advice? I don't know, maybe. Could be. It's really easy for all of us to be in our own way, and I'm guilty of that for sure. But, you know, when I'm resistant to such changes, you know, I'm not like that so much anymore. Probably to a certain degree I still am, but when I'm getting advice from people who know more than me, who are already living the life I want to live, and I start to follow that advice and take those steps, I watch my career move forward, sometimes in little steps and sometimes in bigger steps. And then once I realized that, I look back and go, well, how come I didn't take advice earlier in my career from people who knew more than me? Because my ego got in the way, stubbornness, all of those kind of things. Or just kind of just thinking, oh, it's all going to work out. Well, not really. Not until you took till I took some real action. And then another thought I had is, I think things are going really well for me. Things are moving forward. Mary and I talk frequently, have these meetings about the next steps that we want to take in order to keep improving not only my career, but hers. Now that we are pretty deep into recording and mixing and things like that here, and things keep improving over and over, and watching Mary's skills as a producer and a recording and mix engineer just grow exponentially has been phenomenal to witness and see what she's doing. It's really exciting. But she made a commitment to doing that and trying to learn as fast as she can, and also take advice from people who know more than she does, who are on that next level. And the appreciation for people spending time with her to answer questions and show her how to do things has been truly, we're really grateful for that. Let's see. I already talked about that. So I've mentioned before Kenny Aronoff, the drummer Kenny Aronoff. He was the drummer for John Cougar Mellencamp. He did a pretty big tour with Smashing Pumpkins prior to Jimmy Chamberlain coming back in the band. Toured with Melissa Etheridge. Has played with Ringo and Paul McCartney, and he's played with the who's who of musicians. And I really like watching interviews with Kenny Aronoff because his enthusiasm is really infectious, and his mindset is extraordinary. And the people he's worked with, the resume of that is off the charts amazing. And in one of his interviews I watched recently, he said that, for those people who won't do the work, get out of the way, because you're standing in the way of the people that are trying to move forward. He was much more eloquent in how he said it, or the way that he delivered that line. It totally made sense to me. I don't think it sounded as good when I repeated it, but basically saying, if you're not going to do the work and you're going to be one of those people complaining and milling around, just get out of the way, because people are going to step on you, around you, over you to get to their goals. So if you're just going to basically get moving or don't. If you're not moving, get out of the way. If that makes sense. Let's see. Producer, do you have anything you want to add? I know she's in there. I'm going to get the critique. I want to get Mrs. F in here to do a joint coffee thing some morning. Right? Oh, she's drinking, she's given up on the coffee thing, and she is trying that, is it mushroom coffee? Rise? R-Y-Z-E? I had a little sip of it yesterday. It's a little different, but it's not bad. What do you think? Thumbs up or down? Yeah. She likes it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really taste like mustard. What do you think it tastes like? She says it tastes like coffee. Yeah, so, keeping momentum going, just going to wrap this up, is making smart decisions to keep everything moving forward. And then, the momentum killer is to not have a clear vision of what you are wanting to do. And if you're not clear on that vision, then you can start to lose that enthusiasm or the inspiration or the desire to keep doing things to move forward. And we all have those days that come along where you're just like, I'm not leaving the couch. Because maybe you've been just at it for, weeks on end or something. And I think it's important to take a break occasionally for a moment and breathe. So if you want to take a day here and there to do that, I think that's not a bad thing. But just try to keep doing something all the time to keep moving forward. And it's not just music stuff. My podcast is about life and music, right? So it's all applicable to, I think, everybody's situation. We're all on this platform or different social media platforms, and I think we've all seen our share of complaining people. You name it, they complain about it. The weather, somebody looked at me strange at the grocery store, somebody wanted to drive faster than me, you on and on and on and on, and then feel this need to post that for whatever reason. Some of the complaining people, be careful about how much attention you give to that. I have plenty of complaints, don't get me wrong. But those are mine and mine alone, and try to get through those and navigate around them. And they're typically not a big deal anyway, especially once they're dealt with and taken care of. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on momentum.